Here we are with Lars from
Lars.
Giant Software.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who most or
Let me
most
check
people
if is this microphone on? Can you hear me? Yeah, it works.
who many people probably know from the Giants Discord and social media as I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong now. Listertan.
Lisertan, yeah.
Listertan.
It's German. Well,
Yes.
it's pronounced by a German, so
Ah,
it's
okay.
Lisertan. It's probably not German at all.
I've spent the entire weekend mangling names.
Yeah, well,
and then
it's fine.
apologising.
Yeah, a lot of people on Discord asked me to join in and see what you guys are, up about. So I was like, okay, as soon as my boss leaves, I can't do anything wrong anymore, so I will just join in and say hello to everyone. So I grabbed his headset, and I will stay for a while. I don't know,
Excellent.
maybe until he shows up, maybe I should leave early, whatever.
So my first question would be, how are you enjoying FarmCon? How are you enjoying FarmCon?
A lot, actually.
Yeah.
This is basically one of my highlights personally, because as the community manager, as you can imagine, I want to talk to players, right? That's what I do all day on Discord, whatever. And here I can meet them, I can see them. And sorry for my awkward English pronunciation, but I'm German.
Don't worry about it.
I can talk to them, and you get a better idea of everything players really enjoy or want to change. You get a lot of questions you can't answer as well. That happens a lot, especially because one of the things I usually do if I get a question is I find a developer to answer it for me and then just provide the answer, and everyone's like, oh, Lisertan knows everything. Fact is, I don't. And this is the downside of FarmCon. So people just show up and go like, oh, what about? And then they just ask me development questions. I'm like, how should I know? I'm not a developer. But apart from that, I love it. I mean, Horsch is an amazing place to be. They do a lot of things that, quite frankly, we didn't expect them to do. Like the tractor demonstration we had yesterday. That wasn't really on our plan till last week.
Oh, wow.
That's why we never announced
That's
it. And then they did this special presentation with the sprayer.
I did.
Yes.
I was lucky enough to get a ticket for that,
And
which is really
that
interesting.
one wasn't on our list till they did it, actually.
Oh, wow.
So when we came in Saturday to provide the first bags, they were like, oh, by the way, overnight we just put 120 of these yellow things into the bags, and we have the sprayer now. I was like, that's cool.
That's good.
And so Horsch is doing a lot to make this a really awesome experience for everyone, because you see all the machines, we have the factory tours now, so people are really seeing what's behind the scenes. Then we have, I think, a couple of awesome presentations. FS19 was great, very well received. People loved it.
Yeah.
And yeah, today is, for me personally, it's not as interesting when it comes to the presentations, but that's because I have no fucking clue about modding. I try to listen to the modding presentations, and I'm just sitting there going, yeah, that sounds interesting. I have no clue what he's talking about, but it looks good.
As somebody who's sort of dipped my toe into modding, because I am by no means a full-on modder, nowhere near yet.
For mod editors.
Mod editor. I've actually found today massively interesting, simply because it's given me a feel of even more of what's available and happening in FS19 and in the guts of it, and it's been a really interesting day from that point of view.
That's true, and you can tell that there are pretty much only modders left. Yesterday we had 1,000 people here. It was just crazy. It was insane. Today it's tiny compared to yesterday. It's still like, I don't know, 300-400 people running around, but most of them are modders, and you get a very clear idea of what's coming for the game, because they already share their ideas for FS19 now that they know what FS19 is about and what mods can do now that they get the presentation. They already came to me and was like, you know what, I have an awesome idea. So I already know a couple of ideas that will show up as mods eventually, and that's really, really cool. And I like this. It's basically almost a family feeling today. Sunday is always, like it's basically a giant family of people just hanging around and having fun.
I've noticed a lot of people know each other as well downstairs.
And it's also nice to see that some of the mod teams do also have members who are in Giants as well.
True.
And in fact, Giants historically has brought people in who have been modders and have worked with the game, which is really nice thing to see, because it means that the line between the community and the game is actually a little bit blurred, in that it allows for that interaction.
The way I've been told it's handled by Giants is they always had the idea of have 1/3 modders in their team, because they know the game, they are fans of the game. Most of them just know farming, right? Most of the modders started modding because they love tractors or they are farmers or have farmers in their family. They have 1/3 of industry experts, people who worked on games.
Yep.
They don't necessarily have a clue about farming, but they know what's needed to have a good game or something. And 1/3 of people who have neither. So that you have people basically coming up with ideas that are great for gamers. You have people coming up with ideas that are great for farmers. And they work together to create a game, and the guys who have no clue about either try it and go like, this is not fun, and then we change it. And they try it again and like, oh yeah, this is amazing now, and then we do it like that. And a lot of modders are basically exactly that. They are fans, turned out to be great people who know a lot about the game. Like our latest addition from the modding side should be Jos, I guess, from Realismus Modding, the guy who created Seasons, which is a fantastic mod.
Oh, it's,
right?
it changed the whole way to play FS17.
You can tell this guy is just an awesome modder.
Yeah.
So we were like, he has to be an awesome developer as well. So we hired him. Turned out he actually is an awesome developer. The new mission system, that one is on him.
Yeah.
Character creation, he did a lot of that. So he's just amazing. And it's the same for Mauros. Stefan Mauros is an ex-modder. Manuel Leitner, our boss in Erlangen, he used to be a modder. I think Jan Hendrik, our QA lead, is a modder. So we have a lot of modders in there who have a clear idea of where the game should go, because they already had these ideas in mind when they created the mods. And now they are there actually realizing and making sure that everything has to be done in a certain way, and then they do it, and it's amazing.
I think FS17, especially with mods, has been a fantastic game for like game-changing mods as well. Like Seasons we've had, it's stuff we've seen like before in previous farm sims, but not to an extent where now you can completely transform your game with more realistic Seasons, which is the good thing about Farm Simulator with mods and stuff. You can make it how you want to make it, so it's good to have these guys on board. And meet most of them today, actually.
And hearing that there is that mix within the Giants team explains a lot about the game, because the game is a very customizable game. You can play it almost how you want, and that's everything from someone like me who just loves to try and play it as realistically as possible, and puts rules and restrictions on myself to play it, to somebody who just wants to go in and run around a field in a tractor, or even some of the mods up to things like creating the construction economy and things like that. Some of those mods are
there are
amazing.
Insane mods out there.
And it's just it's amazing to see how flexible the game is with the mods in, and even the base game actually itself is pretty flexible. And it's good to see in FS19 that flexibility has been taken even further.
You can tell that we are growing, right, as a company.
Oh, absolutely.
If you check out our older games, you can see that there were changes from game to game all the time, but they are getting bigger now, and that's because Giants is getting bigger.
Yeah.
I'm in the company for 15 months, almost 16 months now, and I think I was employee number 32 or 33.
Wow.
We are at about 50 now. We are, increasing the numbers. We have more developers, and we can do more. And I think 19 shows that. There are so many changes. If someone turns around to me again and goes like, "This is just the same game as 17," I have to go like, "Are you serious?"
I am. I do see that all the time, and I am. Yeah.
It's such a different game now.
Even with the transition from 15 to 17, I saw it and I was like, what?
if anybody turns around to me and says that the FS, because I've heard a lot in the last few months that FS19 is just FS17 with shaders. Absolutely, it's
not from what we've seen.
Not at all.
Of course, to be fair, until yesterday we didn't share any features, right?
Yeah.
So it looked like a better looking version of FS17 with John Deere in it. I can see that. I can totally see that. But I always told the players, look, just wait until we announce features, because we haven't. And there are big changes coming. And they were like, yeah, we will see about that. Well, no, you see.
Absolutely.
Tell me again.
That's the thing. When everything that's been released really early says to you it's just that, you know that it can't just be that, because otherwise that wouldn't have been released that early.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's
funny that you say that, actually, because I was about to say, Farming Simulator, my personal opinion, is one of the only games where it comes out every 2 years. and it's such a day and night difference between the versions. Whereas some other games would be exactly the same, but with different missions or whatever. Farming Simulator is day and night difference, and it's the growth of the company. But also, even though Giants as a company's grown, you're still involved with the community, whether they're modders or players and stuff, which is really important.
In fact, I'd even go as far as say that Giants is now more involved with the community.
Yeah,
I mean, when FS15 came out, I do remember that there was a bit of criticism that there wasn't a lot of communication between Giants and the community, and now it's night and day different.
I think,
and it's a really nice thing to see.
I think one of the big differences here is, and that's history of the company when I wasn't here. Martin, my boss now, the guy who sat here just before I arrived, he told me that he was hired to be the marketing manager, but also communicating with community. But the community is big, and it was growing so fast that he couldn't talk to the guys. And then I think it tells a lot of things about the company, that the first thing they hired after 17 was a quality team to ensure we have less bugs, a support team to ensure people get more help, and a community manager. That was the first wave of hirings basically after 17 was released. There were no new devs. There was no new dev team. It was basically making sure the game is running smooth and the community is here. That I'm here in the company shows how much we try to care about everything, and I think it really is nice to see that. And now that we have done this, now we are hiring developers again, and that's so cool to see for me, because there are these guys coming in from all over the world. Like our sound team, they arrived after me. Laszlo, the Hungarian guy, he used to work on The Witcher 3. He used to work on Project Cars. He used to work on Crysis. So he's a very experienced sound designer. And he comes in and he's just a veteran, going, oh yeah, I know exactly what I need.
And that goes into showing, because the audio presentation yesterday morning, seeing the difference in the sound design for Estacia Lapacho between FS17 and FS19. The comparison he showed us, again, there is just so much more extra detail, even in that aspect of the game.
And what they did there is, Thiago, the guy who gave the presentation yesterday, he's the exact opposite. He's fresh out of university. Like, he started the day he finished his university, he got his master, he started in our office. He has already been in the office before he got the master degree. And these two are working together, the veteran knowing everything, and just this fresh eyes coming in and going, or fresh ears in this case, coming and saying, I have a new idea, I have a new way to do this. And we do that a lot. We have a lot of veterans and new guys together, and this is just, I think the dynamic in this company is amazing because of all these things, because it's in every single team. You have old guys, new guys.
And it is very much showing.
We were lucky enough Friday, to have the tour of the Giants office, one of them.
Yeah.
And you get to see where people work and stuff, and how the game actually comes together, which is really interesting. We saw the sound studio, which I love sounds in games, especially. So that was exciting for me. When 17 came out, I remember I didn't even know it was in the game. I drove across some gravel and heard the gravel. I was like, wow.
Hearing that for the first time was just absolute, and the hearing again in that sound presentation yesterday that they're extending that to other forms of surfaces is just fantastic. It is. As I've said it a lot recently. The things I love about FS19 that I've seen so far is not the big things. Sure, I love that John Deere's in the game and things like that. It's the attention to detail. It's all these really little tweaks and improvements and just things that add up to creating a massively more realistic experience and more immersive experience in the game. And I got way too excited about wildlife being in the game, even though it has no function in it at all. But the idea I'll be drilling and I'll be ploughing and I'll see birds behind me, coming down is awesome.
Interestingly enough, it's always like this. It's always tiny things. Like, when we showed the placeables, everyone was like, "Oh, this is amazing," and we got some applause, blah blah blah. But when we shown the attachment of the hoses and stuff, is it hose in English? I think it's hose. Yes. We showed everyone just freaked out about it. It's the tiny things. It was the same with foliage bending. We've shown John Deere. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, John Deere!" Oh, when we have foliage bending, and they freaked out about it.
I loved seeing the corn because it was one of the questions I had was, what's the corn like? Because it comes up to here, and to see it this morning in the John Deere and in it bending and then flipping up behind the tractor again. That was.
But-
I mean, it was only a still, but it was.
Yeah, but also how it like we
And
got
how it
shown
does it.
how it actually works in GE as well, which
Yeah.
is really interesting. So
It's it is a. I think I actually looking at what I've seen of FS19, I think it is a bigger improvement over FS 17 than 17 was over 15. And I remember thinking when I got 17 that it was a massive leap forward.
I think 19 is the biggest leap we had in between
Yeah.
games. I mean, I started with 13, so there might be huge leaps from 9 to something, 9 to 11 or something. I haven't seen them, so I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But I think 13 to 15 was nice. 15 to 17 was definitely nice. 17 to 19 is insane.
Yeah.
Right? This farm like never before. Everyone is like, yeah, of course. That's definitely a thing now.
It really does live up to that tagline.
Kind of happy because you remember the Discord things we had going when I said I'm not too, I love John Deere. It's nice that it's in there, but it's not my favorite feature. And everyone started hyping Lisertan's favorite feature for the last 4 months. I was so nervous when we announced this. I was like, please love it, because everyone was just like, this has to be the best feature in the universe. Lisertan is just hyping, and it's like, I just said I didn't like John Deere as much as this feature.
So actually, go back. So what was because you were saying, I love this feature. What was the feature that is your favorite?
It was the placeable farms
It is
together with the competitive multiplayer, because this to me is one big feature,
yeah.
right? I can play with my friends now, but not only can I play with my friends, I don't have to use a map where everything is set up. I can just build my own stuff. And this to me changes the entire way of how I play the game. And for my friends, it changes everything, basically, just everything. And that was the biggest feature. I didn't mean to hype it as much as it happened. It was because of some guys. Thanks, Rob, by the way. I think he started it in Discord. Just taking my sentence where just only thing I really said 4 months ago or 3 months ago was like, oh, it's not as big as John Deere to me. And they just freaked out about
But
it.
in all honesty, I think it is. I think it is a bigger thing than having John Deere in. John Deere is awesome. I think John Deere, I said it before, that I think John Deere absolutely guarantees that there'll be a 21 and 23 and beyond, because John Deere is big enough of a brand to do that. But I love the idea that you don't buy fields, you buy farms. And that to me is another bit of detail that makes it a bit more realistic.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you have this, well, it used to be the difficulty level, but that's not the difficulty level anymore. You basically pick your start equipment now, right? The harder you go, the less you have. I like that idea.
Farm manager and what was the other two?
Because I did try and write down all three, and I missed what the first one was. But the crazy thing is, I have been playing on essentially what is now hard mode for the last few months. So suddenly, my playstyle will change, because I won't be going for the normal mode all the time. I'll be going for the hard mode and starting from there, because that is how I like to play the game.
Yeah, I think I agree with you with the John Deere thing as well, though, because the multiplayer thing adds gameplay elements, and there's a lot of things that on 19 that adds stuff to do, from the weeds and stuff that we saw. There's much more for you to do, which adds gameplay, whereas John Deere is nice, but if we had John Deere just a plain square, people would get bored, but there's so much things to do as well.
Yeah,
so.
and I do like that from what we saw of the new map, the new American map yesterday, that there seems to have been a move away from having square fields.
Yeah. And it has bigger fields than we had before, because it's America, it's a huge country.
But
everyone knows that,
it was seeing fields sort of that shape and that shape.
And now you can do whatever you want, right? With the new system, if you don't like the fields, if you want a circle field, well, go for it, create one. It's on you if you like circles. Who should stop you? I for sure won't. I stick to square fields.
The trouble is, in the UK, there is no such thing.
I know. I lived in the UK for 18 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lived in Brighton.
Oh, wow.
When I was working for NCSoft on Guild Wars and Ion, I used to live in Brighton. It was amazing. I loved Brighton. It was good.
Yeah, no, Brighton's lovely. I've been there a few times.
Party town. And I went to Ireland. That was better. Just saying.
They definitely don't have square fields in Ireland.
I was going to say, Dave will be happy to hear that, and so will Chris.
Lots of good things added to 19 that I'm excited for. Like you said, it's the small things as well for me. Like we obviously watched the presentation, and when the lights came on the actual dash controls, I was like, VF. 'Cause I like playing when I'm not playing for YouTube and I'm playing for myself. I like, for some reason, doing stuff at night time with the work lights on and stuff. I find it quite relaxing. So now you've got also the immersion of the lights, and I use head tracking as well, which was added in 17. So.
But it's also the movable pedals and, and all that.
And a lot of these things are because of the community. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen my presentation yesterday, but the guys out there definitely haven't.
Yeah.
So I can just bring this up again. A lot of these things that we do now is because the community gave us the feedback, and they said, we want interior lights, we want foliage bending. Well, they didn't say we want foliage bending. What they said was we don't want plants to clip into the tractor and stuff like that. So community feedback is important, right? A lot of things that are in the game now that will come up with 19 is just because the players wanted it. Because when we started thinking about 19, that was pretty much when I started working in the company. They asked me to make a list. So the developers came to me and was like, we need a priority list from community. So I gathered all the information, gave them a huge list with all the features from, John Deere, dynamic terrain, all these things, down to stop the rain from going through roofs and all these things. It was all on that list.
I was going to say, can you clear something else? Because I think we had a bad translation yesterday during the FS19 presentation. Does the rain come through the roofs?
Right now it does.
Yeah.
But what they said, and that's what it is about, is we are going to fix this before FS19 is out. We are at 90% done. The problem is, once we got it stopped from raining through it, we decided that we can move around buildings. It just got worse from there. So we are 90% there, but it's definitely the plan to have that fixed by the time 19 launches. Fantastic. Because we know players hate the fact. And the best thing is we had windscreen wipers at one point. I don't know if they're still in. We experimented with it, tried to have that going. Yeah. It was hilarious because they were on, but it was still raining into your tractor. You were like, the hell is that for? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know if they're still in. Because in the end we would have to animate them for all the tractors, so they might not have made it into the final version. But it was definitely one of the most hilarious things. Apart from, I've seen flying pigs. One of my favorite stories is when we had the birds, we didn't have the textures and the animations, but we wanted to test the system that, if you seed something, that they land and stuff. So one of our art designers was like, let's just replace them with the pig artwork we have. So we put in pigs there, and you had the pigs flying, landing. You turn around, and they were just flying away. We're like, we should change that. This is creepy. Can we just stop that?
When 19 gets released, we're switching that right back to
pigs. Suddenly, John Deere in the game.
It's a good idea for a mod.
John Deere in the game is explained because pigs flip.
The plow.
Oh yeah, right. They use the plow, and they just speed it up like 500 times to show that. It looks amazing on tractors now, and because we do have the new system where you can see what metal it is. If it's chrome or plastic or anything. And it looks so good if these tractors just get older, and you can tell that they get older. It's really cool.
But it also gives the workshop another use as well, doesn't it? When you have to repair them, as opposed to just changing your wheels. Or something.
You better do, because these things really mess up. If you don't, maintain them at a specific level, they use more petrol, they get slower, they lose power. It's really bad to just let them run. So you better bring them back. Oh. We have a
Team Farmer.
Team Farmer.
That's a creative name. How did you come up with that one?
I think
his
approved of that name, to be honest.
Oh, you like it, yeah.
I like that name.
So they're allowed to cross
they
the
are
line
not very virtual, though.
No. Well, they are.
As soon as they cross the checkered line, they will.
They're
started. 2 balers and the Manitou. Everyone seems to like the Manitou.
Everyone seems to like the Manitou. And today we have only...
forgot to turn the baler on. It's the second time we've seen that today.
No, we still forgot to turn the baler on. Oh yeah, but we haven't dropped the pickup down, is what it is.
I'm a bit offended. My favourite telehandler in FS17 is the JC. Both balers have been turned on.
This is not a strong start, unfortunately.
Well, the Valtra has been turned on now, so there's one.
So my favourite telehandler is the JCB, but people don't seem to like it during this challenge.
To be perfectly honest, I do not get on with the JCB.
I mean, you've seen way more games than me, but I think the Manitou and the New Holland are the two favorites. At least every time I'm here, it's these two.
It's interesting that most people tend to go the two, so the Manitou and the New Holland, and then grab a tractor.
Yeah.
So nobody seems to go for the JCB at all.
So second on the list, Vertex 2, they had the New Holland telehandler out. and they dropped the bell, but it cost them a little bit of time. But also, they were still first, but they were in the New Holland, and the reason they came second is because New Holland couldn't go fast enough to cross the line in time. So people have been leaving that one out. We've seen a couple of people switch to the Fendt tractor instead.
What is it? 0.5 seconds?
Yeah, it was
real close.
0.42 between the top two. It was absolutely.
But that's including dropping a bell and picking it back up.
Yeah.
And then they had to wait for the New Holland to cross the line, which the Manitou just flew past.
Yeah, Martin was saying is that it's possible to do this in under 3 minutes, which is.
So during the test runs, on Creative Mesh, I think they're like 7th now or something.
Yes, they had such.
10th now.
They were at 2 minutes 56. That was their best time during their test runs.
Wow.
And the same for, I don't know what Vertex Design team that is, because they have 3.
Yes.
But one of them is at 2:56 as well.
Yeah.
But I think it was the one that is now in first place. So I think they were the fastest, but I'm not 100% sure. We still have one Vertex Design team to go.
So we have had 2 teams then who've done sub 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So with 3 bells on the trailer right now, 2 minutes on the clock.
But then again, if you get the time, just talk to these guys. They have printed out ways where they're like, okay, we have to go that way. You know, in second 30, you have to be at that exact spot, and then it's completely
Creative
insane.
Mesh were unlucky in that they ended up
hitting the trailer.
knocking the trailer, and it just knocked the load off. And at that point,
yeah, well, they told me they will go full risk to make sure that they get first, and they were like, we either make it in below 3 minutes or we won't make it into the top 10. I was like, well, that's fair enough, you know. If you go full risk, why not?
Yeah,
Well, they're in the top 10 at the moment. They are 10th at the moment.
And there's still a Vertex team coming, so they're probably out of top 10. So it was quite accurate.
Yeah.
So for the people watching online, this is actually your baby, this game, isn't it? The championship.
It's pretty much because I love esports. And yeah.
So we had an idea earlier, but before we were live, an extreme version where the 2 best teams could try and do it with the trailer on a spline going around.
Try and
put your bells on that.
I thought the extreme version is the 2 best teams play against each other at the same time with 2 trailers on the thing. And then you just have to fight for every bale and see where you end.
That's actually a good one. Get those to move as well.
But actually, that's the
That would be
interesting about
chaos though.
That's the interesting thing about FS19, because FS19 with its competitive element.
We will probably come up with a new game for 19. Not sure, but as you can imagine, 17 is pretty much over now when it comes to FSC, because there's one more event before or around the launch. I'm not sure, but there's one more event. I know that this year, and then we are already with FS19, and we might come up with a new game. Maybe it's bale stacking again. Maybe we come up with something else. We are currently brainstorming ideas. There are a couple of really crazy ones that we better not talk about, and a couple of really good ones. And in the end, we will find something to make this a little bit more interesting, because that might not be the last time we hear you 2 guys commenting. Who knows?
Oh, that would be, well, I would be very honoured. I am very honoured to be here, to be honest. I'd like to thank you guys very much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's nice that you guys are here, even if you forget that we have a party in hotel and then just go to sleep, because that happened.
Oh,
Dear stream,
I was so middle-aged last night.
Story
I went
time.
to bed.
These 2 guys just disappeared yesterday evening when the whole Giants team and a couple of players actually met in the hotel lobby to have a couple of drinks and just talk about the game. These 2 went to bed.
There's going to be so many mad people watching this now saying, you had the chance to drink with Giants and you went to bed.
It's so sad.
It is.
Next time we invite the Irish, they will drink.
I said I wouldn't make that mistake again.
It's actually, so for future FarmCons, we do that every day, every Saturday, basically, because, I mean, we're in the hotel anyway. We need to eat something, we want to drink something, and what we usually do is we just build a giant circle. Everyone who comes around that looks like he's a farming simulator player, we just invite him into the circle. Last year we made it up to like 80 people in the giant circle, I think. This year it was like 15 or something. It was tiny. But we had the after show party here. Yeah. And that was 5 hours.
Which was great fun yesterday.
That's another thing. I don't know any other game developing companies that interact with fans in terms of going to a bar and stuff, which is why Giants is so amazing.
Well, FarmCon, because I'm a veteran convention guy. I've done huge numbers of sci-fi cons in the UK, and it really does feel very much like one of the more personable ones of those. So one of the weekend cons where you all stay in a hotel and the whole convention is in that hotel, and it's felt very much like that this weekend.
And I think it is.
It is very much.
It used to be even more personal when we were 300 people. With 1,000 people, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's why we spread up. I mean, I think you know that the Swiss team was in a different hotel, so that we could reach as many players as possible. So the guys who were in Regensburg, I think they went to dinner as well yesterday with a couple of mod teams, and whoever was around, same system, just whoever's around gets picked up. And we did that. The Erlangen team, the German team, did that in where are we again? Roding.
Roding, yeah. It's been very surreal hanging around with the Giants lot though, because we've not even been talking about farm sim half the time.
No.
It's just been normal chatting going on.
Yeah.
So we've been hanging around with Racking quite a lot, haven't we?
A surreal moment yesterday afternoon. I was explaining how the roadworks on the M25 never cease or never stop. They're always going around doing them, which was just, not a subject I ever thought I'd be discussing.
First thing Martin said to us when we got into the van was, "How's the weather in England?"
I heard it's really warm though.
It has been, yeah. We've
9 weeks, I think, is that now with no rain. So it started raining yesterday, and he came in. We were here. I went, "No, I'm just going to stand here for a little bit. I miss it."
Yeah.
We have 16 bales on the trailer with 7 minutes.
Under
over
a minute
7 minutes
left.
gone. I think this is likely to be a
Dropout.
a number of bales finish rather than a timer finish.
Is there actually an English term for that? For not really finishing?
Not finishing.
Not really. We just use a DNF usually, which means did not finish.
Did not finish tends to be.
Instead of the score, it will say DNF. But we've had people score on the table by bales alone.
Because we know it's hard. I mean, have you guys tried this?
Yes.
It's insanely hard.
We were going to give it a go until I think it wasn't even the 342. I think it was like the 431. When that got posted, we were like,
no, especially when we went, there's only 2 of us. we're not going to post anywhere
Well,
near
we have a
good
lot of
time.
Giants crew here that will join you guys, and you can try. It's really hard.
There we go. We have about 12 bales on the train now. 8 minutes. Oh, the time's finished.
Yeah, we are over 8 minutes.
See
We
what
have
happens.
12 bales.
Let's see
Or
what.
maybe 13. I think that last one may have come on just before they stopped.
Let's see what the final score was then. We're at
There we go.
13 bales,
bales.
which puts them in 26th. I changed it. It said 33. So
The system had to calculate, I guess.
26th. So 13 bales.
Nice.
Well done to Team Farmer there. So after that, we've got Unimog, which is should be next. Actually.
Should be next at 2:15. So yeah.
Well, it seemed to have fun though.
Yes. It's,
Yeah.
it's,
They
one of
look
the nice
happy.
things about this is
So there's
that
that.
even those who haven't managed to get the 20 bales on time all seem to have enjoyed themselves. Nobody seemed to get overly stressed
No.
about it.
People have fun, and that's
People having
a
fun.
good thing. Especially because we have all these thousands of players out there watching you, so there can be a little pressure.
Once again, that was Team Farmer.
But yeah, no, they just have fun, and
Yes.
that's good. That's a good
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
We were saying earlier, we can't believe how much. We said this to Martin. We can't believe how much it's changed because when we sat down at 12 o'clock yesterday, the fastest time was 5 minutes 13. And the first thing I said is that's going to be hard to beat. And now we're on 3 minutes 42.
It just, yeah.
We
just
are-
feels.
We have been wondering who is Giant Software, who the 3 players were for them.
It was Kenneth from QA. It was a QA team.
Oh,
It was Matt Max from the forums, Chris Wachter. It was der Schreiner, Stefan Bongartz, and Kenneth, that's
Yes.
X, Lithian X, the guy people usually ask for mods in Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
These 3 were the... They didn't know they will be the team before we told them Saturday morning. So
Oh, wow.
it was hilarious because we always had the plan to have a Giants team opening this game just to show it off, And we were like, so we can't send the best guys we have because we don't want to. We can't send people like me because we want to end up with less than 8 minutes basically, and the DNF.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's take QA. They are great. And then we're like, you guys are driving at 10:30. They were like, what do you mean driving? We're like, well, you're opening the game. We're like, are you serious? We're like, yep, that's what's going to happen. And they had one try to do it before. They
Oh,
never
wow.
played before as a team.
Yeah.
And it was chaos, but it worked out okay-ish.
They were second for a long time. It was
They
about
were,
4
yeah.
hours.
Yeah, they were second when we came on, and I think they only ended up at fourth when we left yesterday. So it's a reasonable time.
But we took QA on purpose. These guys are playing the game all day, right?
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Exactly.
They try to break the game. They're the only ones in the company who actually try to break the game instead of fixing the game, which is a very interesting department, I think, because they really try their best to just destroy everything they can
I
see.
know a couple of people who'd be really good in that team.
Me included. Here you go, break this. Thank you.
I was very much thinking GD.
It's the way to find bugs, right? You try to break as many things as possible and go to the developers and go like, shit's broken, yo.
Yeah.
And then they have to come up with a solution for that. And yeah, I hope that this will show in 19 as well, because I think it's the first release with a full QA team in place. 17 didn't have one, and I know there were a couple of bugs when 17 came out. I think the first thing that these guys released was Big Bud. That was the first DLC where we had the QA team. And Big Bud came out kind of okayish. There weren't too many bugs.
No.
And then from there on, we had this QA team just getting rolling. And now with 19, they're testing a lot of things. So I'm hopeful that there's a good game.
How early do you push the game out for testing, or do you do it as it's being produced?
The first time I've seen it for testing, there was nothing on there. Just one tractor. It was a Fend by the time, because we didn't have anything ready. There was no John Deere, there was no Ideal or anything. It was just I think a 700 Fend. The map was basically just white plain fields. There was nothing. All the houses were just white circles, but we already had a couple of things in there, like the lightning and stuff. Lighting, not lightning.
I was gonna say that's something.
I'm German, guys. Don't forget that. I'm not native. I do this. This was an honest,
not
honest,
lightning.
Yeah, thank you. Honest mistake here from a German. And they started testing right away, because the way that works is our QA team works on the development server. So they might actually test a different version of the game 5 times a day, because the developers are just uploading things, and then they just get a message going, just refresh, basically, just re-download the game, and then they get a new version. So they start really early, so that they can find even the tiniest bugs. And now that we can see, actually, it's hilarious, because they have all these videos, like I told you, the flying pigs and all these things. They recorded this, right? They were like, oh, this is a bug, there are pigs flying. And I was like, yeah, we know, because no one told us that they just replaced the textures.
Yeah.
So and we have all these videos, and I hope that my bosses will allow me to do a blooper reel once the game is out,
that
because there
would
are
be
so
awesome.
many great QA videos from these guys. It would be hilarious, but I'm not sure we can do that, because it looks kind of stupid, to be fair. A couple of things were just so broken when the game started.
It's part of the development process, though, isn't it? Like, I like the way they opened the presentation for FS19 yesterday, and they went, hopefully it doesn't crash.
It did on Thursday.
Did it? Yeah.
On Thursday, we had the final build for FarmCon, because we needed it on Friday, right,
Yeah.
to be ready. We came in Friday. And on Thursday, they were like, oh, we got just change a tiny thing. They did. It just completely destroyed the game. It crashed like 5 times in a row, and then we're like, oh, yeah. And then they found the mistake, fixed it, and we're like, okay, let's just hope it doesn't crash now. It didn't.
It didn't.
But yeah, no, we
Confirmed it
destroyed it a day before FarmCon. Brilliant idea.
Oh wow.
So, did you manage to fix that, or did you just take it out for that?
No,
farm?
they fixed it. It was just a tiny thing. I don't even know what they did. I just, heard the stories of bringing new code, and it crashed the game, and then our developers were just basically searching for the mistake, for the error, found it, fixed it, re-uploaded, done.
No, knowing
But,
programming, it's quite often
It
something
made us very nervous. As you can
simple.
imagine, if this breaks on Thursday, people get really nervous.
Yeah.
So, it's a rolling testing, basically. So, it must be quite annoying when someone, developer's in there, he goes, right, I finished it, and he gets sent back saying, no, it's broken.
It happens. I mean, you know what's more frustrating to me, but I'm not a developer, is if you have a feature, and then you develop the feature, and you put it up, and then you test it, and you go like, that's just not fun, and you remove it. Like, this guy worked for weeks to bring up this feature, and it turns out to be a bad feature or not a fun feature, and then you have to either remove it or most of the time we change it, because if a feature comes in, that's usually because we want it, and then we're like, oh, we need to do this completely different. This guy's like, really? I spent 4 weeks on that. Yeah, but redo it. Thanks.
From the ground up, please. Team Unimog has just set off. They've took the Manitou out straight away, and
And it is the first time we've seen the single baler method.
today at least.
Today.
So we've got the single baler out with the New Holland and the Manitou. 32 seconds on the clock gone now.
And
Pick
our
up the
first
first
bale
one.
has been collected. Oh, he's gone. He's using the alternate lines method. farming, which is interesting because I see a few people normally when they're using GPS do that kind of thing. Obviously not in this.
Oh yeah.
But when they're playing the game, they'll do alternate rows rather than. Oh.
Well, that seems to be just us.
And we're back.
And we're back. Whether we're still online, I don't know.
I'm going to keep talking like I am.
So I was about to say.
I'm going to check. You can still hear me, but I'm going to check if we are still online.
Okay.
I can just continue talking. I love this thing. Hello,
So,
Tech Team. Are we
he is,
still streaming? Tech Team says we are fine.
Excellent.
All good.
So yeah, we are still going for the alternate rows method, which is the first time we have seen this.
Some rearranging going on as well. First time we've seen this. 1 minute 29 on the clock.
Where's the Manitou got to? Where's he disappeared
Picking
off to?
up bales, I believe.
Must be. There he is. He has a stack of bales down the far end of the field.
So actually, we asked Martin, what do you think of the horse complex, we've been calling it? We don't know the proper name for it.
I love it.
It's really nice to be here. And I was saying to VF earlier as well, you don't actually, in farm sim, realise how big the equipment is. Like when I saw the 6 metre cultivator, which is just down there, I was like, I've been using that thing with like a T4 or a T5. Like, what? Maybe not anymore.
We have a new respect for the small equipment in farm sim.
And then we looked over at the 3 metre cultivator over there. I was like, that's not small either. And that's what you start off with in the game.
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, I lived in a city all my life. I don't know, or I didn't know much about tractors and all these things before I started working for Giants. And when I saw these things for the first time, I was like, the hell? You know? And we had the factory tour on Friday. We got our own tiny little factory tour because we can't do it on Sunday, obviously. And they have even bigger things back there in the halls, and we were just like, this is just completely insane.
Well, we were using Sim because he's about 6 foot tall.
Yeah, you can use me as a ruler. Because I saw a quad track for the first ever time in real life. I was like, oh, I love it. Because ever since I played FS13, I've wanted to see one of these things in real life. And he's been using me as a ruler, saying, well, you're 6'1", and that track's bigger than you. So we're looking 6'3" just for the track.
Well, it works.
And the thing we couldn't get past in the first day was the auger wagon. And just the
Well, you could see that from down the street, the auger wagon. There is, I've got a couple of pictures of that up.
Yeah.
Makes me really wonder how big a Big Butt is. Or the tools that thing is pulling. You know, I would really love to see some.
Or the big challenger in game as well, because that thing's got to be
I forgot about that thing. We've got the Zerion outside as well, which is massive.
But the thing is, I grew up on a farm, and the tractors now are twice the size of the ones I grew up with, and have 4 or 5 times the horsepower as well. I remember when I was younger, as our ploughing tractor was our big tractor on the farm, we had a TW25, which Matt XS awesome mod of, and I end up using all the time. But that only has 125 horsepower or something like that. It's not a huge amount. It's certainly not more than about 180. And yeah, that is a small tractor by today's standards.
See, I've only driven one tractor my whole life, and that was a New Holland T4, like the one from FarmCon18, but the 2-wheel drive version, so it was even lower. So you can imagine my reaction when I saw the quad track yesterday. But that's a bit bigger than the one I drove. So we've got 12 bales on the trailer so far, 4 minutes 13 gone on the clock there, and they're picking up another 2. The Manitou is there picking up another 2 as well. Team seems to be doing pretty well time-wise.
Yeah.
So again, this is Team Unimog, the second to last team. Next is the big Vertex Design
at 3 o'clock.
And there's going to be quite a big crowd for them, I think. There's a lot of people from Giants that said they're going to come up and watch that.
Yeah. That will probably be with Martin again, because he was like, oh yeah, you have to leave this spot when Vertex plays, because he wants to be here. And as he is my boss, you know, I can't argue.
We are up to, interesting.
He's already there. He's already going, oh yeah. That's it, Lars. I'm going to take over.
It's nearly 3 moves.
I just mentioned that you will come back once Vertex starts.
Okay.
Have lag. Sound tech team, what did you do? Hello, it's the Mr. Lars. Yeah, that works. I'm back.
Guess what? He's back.
We figured the problem out, so I can come back. Because Martin has no time to do the Vertex Design stuff, and I really want to make fun of these guys, so I'm coming back for that.
So we're joined once again by Lars. a giant zone, Lars, who
Yes.
you guys all know from
Without
the
the 5-second delay that has never been there, but our guys over there,
Right.
one was watching on YouTube and one was watching on Twitch, and there was a 5-second delay between them. I was like, oh man, I just hear that now, and they were like, oh, there's a delay, and then I figured out that they were on 2 different streams.
Yeah, that is an odd thing, because I stream on both. I stream on both simultaneously.
Exactly.
And I try and keep an eye on both streams at the time, just because my internet connection is so awful that at any time I could lose either one of them. And basically, Twitch has a longer delay to it than YouTube does.
It does.
But it's
And
also got
it's-
the upper quality.
It does have a one. Yes and no. Well, I suppose yeah. I think it must be the pre-processing or the post-processing.
Doesn't that depend on the channel as well? Isn't it with Twitch that you can get a better quality or a wider range of quality even if you're a Twitch partner or something, that you can have higher highs and lower lows?
Yeah, I
basically.
personally, I have a manual delay. I put 30-second delay on for the buffering and stuff, but selectable, I suppose. So one person left on the schedule at 3 o'clock German time. Of course, it'll be 2 o'clock for us back home.
Yep.
So just over 30 minutes for that. Vertex Designs, which are the modders who give us some fantastic mods.
Yeah,
With fast.
and whose teams so far have posted the top 2 spots.
Yes. Well, server members. Chaos Crew are in the room with us now.
Yes.
Am I right in saying not Lost Boat? What was the Vertex map?
Oh,
Well, they did, for example, the Horse Pack.
they
which
did.
is-
They did do the
Which
horse
is,
pack, yes.
that we are at Horse. That
We
you
are
might-
at Horse,
There is
yes.
this hint that they wear Horse red, actual sports jerseys with the Horse logo on the back.
Ah,
Of course, the
They're very
proper
subtle about it.
esports team here.
Yeah, they actually wear proper esports jerseys, and they did they won the mod contest
Contest.
for the Horse map,
yeah.
Yep.
the Knatzmost or whatever that is pronounced.
Yeah.
I really don't know how it's pronounced.
So I take it because we were trying to figure out that isn't here, is it?
No, that's not here. That's in the Czech Republic, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
So Horse has like 5 or 6 different locations. That one used to be the old farm of the Horse brothers. So if you look behind that building that no one except for us can see right now
Yeah.
because we're on
Yeah.
stream, but behind that there is the old farm. It's still there, and the brothers are still living there. The family is still living there, and then they just expanded because Horse is not that old. They're I think like 35-year-old company.
All right. Wow.
And yeah, then they built this thing, and they got all these other locations. But that one is the headquarter, basically.
Speaking of companies growing, Horse is one of them. But if you look at the equipment outside now, and I'm still blown away by that auger, but those guys can't see it anyway. So
I mean, if you are lucky, you can grab Michael Horsch because he's running around. He loves our game and he loves the community, basically. So he's running around talking to players, which I personally think is amazing. You know,
It's wonderful to see such support from a manufacturer, and they invited Giants here, as
they
I
did.
understand it.
I think it was because of the bad food last year. not 100% sure, but the way that happened is there was actually a hilarious story, and we have enough time so I can tell it. Last year on FarmCon, we were in Paderborn, and it was a nice location, but it was canteen food, and it wasn't bad per se, but it was canteen food. You know, it's not great either. And Michael Horsch was there, and he tasted the canteen food. He was like, "This is not good enough." And then he had this presentation, and during the presentation, he got so excited about FarmCon and about us and everything that he just was there and then, you know what? Now next year you come to me, and I'm gonna pay for the food, and I'm gonna bring real food, and you can drive tractors, and we're gonna do this the real way.
Oh wow!
And we had everything on tape because we record all presentations. And then a couple of weeks later, it was actually him approaching us. Was like, by the way, that wasn't fun, right?
Yeah.
FarmCon is with us next year. And then we had our first meeting with the Horsch event managers, and that was probably one of the most hilarious meetings I had in all my life, because we came to Horsch, and it wasn't Michael Horsch or anyone. It was his event manager team, a marketing team, and they didn't know who we are because they're not dealing with gamers or games in general. They are dealing with farmers, and so they looked at us like, "Who the hell are you guys? What do you want?" And we were like, "So we need the big hall down there. We need that one. We need tractors to drive. We need free food. Good food, please. We need drinks." And they were like, "And why do you think you get that?" Basically, you can tell from their face. They were like, "Why would you think you get it?" And our video dude, and I will never forget that, he has his laptop with him.
Yeah.
And he was like, Well, because open the laptop and just press play on the video because your boss said so. Turned it around, and the marketing was just sitting there, was watching the video, like, oh. And that's how it started.
That's brilliant.
The free food, by the way, wasn't just for Giants. It was every single person that came to FarmCon yesterday.
Everybody yesterday had a token for free food and free drink.
Yeah, and they didn't, you know, it was not just food, but they brought in a proper catering service with steaks and what's the English word for the pickling? Is it pickling?
Oh,
you know, the Spanferkel in German. I think.
I should know this.
Hog roast?
Hog roast.
Hog
Yes,
roast.
it was hog roast.
So they actually brought proper food in, you know.
It was delicious. I mean, I've never eaten.
So I heard
so
it was a
much
steak sandwich on the menu, and I was like, okay, because in England a steak sandwich is shavings of like a really cheap bit of steak with maybe a bit of American cheese slapped inside, and then when it got given to you first, it's actually a roll with an actual steak in it. I was like, what?
Big piece of pork
That's the German
steak
way of steak sandwich.
This is not shavings. This is a full steak.
This is a full steak.
In a sandwich.
Which was great because we forgot to eat before yesterday's session. So I immediately went out and had 2 steak sandwiches.
Yeah, well, you can still eat after this session because you are done after Vertex, right? That's
Vertex
that's
is
our
last
our
one.
stream
Unless,
final.
unless of course somebody else wants to step up and take one of the last 2 spots that are still available. But
I think Vertex Design's actually been pushed back since we started. I think it was at 3 originally.
no, they've been pulled forward.
That's what I meant, sorry, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
'Cause they were at 3.
So 10 minutes time.
I think we're gonna finish with Vertex and then we might close down the stream even, and then we grab some food because you are still, you know, we invited you, so you won't starve because otherwise you go home and you're like, next stream is like, you wouldn't believe, you know, how Giants treated me. First of all, they dropped me in the hotel, didn't tell me about the party, and then there was no food on Sunday. This weirdo was coming into our stream all the time, dropping F-bombs, saying stuff like shit's broken, yo.
He's also filled my bag up, and you guys find out about that later.
Yes.
When we came this morning, we went, there you go.
They are.
Yeah, well, you know, it's my chance to get stuff over to England without sending it. So it's lazy me just taking advantage of you guys being here.
And it's not FarmCon18 for people.
No, it is not.
But go back to the food. One of the interesting things was putting ketchup in there, which is an actual cow udder.
Yes, yeah.
Never seen that before, by the way.
The sauce dispensers are udders, and you use them like udders.
You've never seen that.
I've never seen that.
I'm in Germany for quite some time now. That was a first for me as well. But it worked very well, so I give them that.
It was really good. But yeah, it's been I've had a really good time this weekend. I've massively enjoyed myself.
We even had people camping last night. We saw that outside.
Oh yeah.
There's people camping outside.
Oh, they do that
Porsche.
every year, by the way.
Really?
So there are these 2 guys who have this hangar, basically, where they just put in a mattress or something. They do that every year. They did it last year. They do it this year. It just seems to be their thing. Maybe they're just cheap, you know, want to save money. Or maybe they just like it. I don't know. But no, they do that every year. Last year we had someone arriving with a tractor as well.
Oh, wow.
That's why I made the rule that if you come up with a tractor, you get free entrance. No one did this year.
Yeah.
No.
Gotta do that again next year.
There's a tip for you guys.
Yeah.
Bring your tractor to Germany.
Yeah.
That would be quite a drive.
It'd be a fun drive.
Well, these 2 guys, they were 2 kids. They weren't 18, so
right,
they couldn't drive a real car, but they could drive the tractor.
Oh,
So they used the tractor, and I think it was a 6-hour drive or something. They weren't even that far away, but it was a tractor.
But it was a tractor.
And, you know, I feel then you deserve to come in.
Yeah.
If you do that, you deserve to come in. You deserve to see the game. That's just...
That's
cool.
some proper dedication.
One way of commuting.
Yeah.
So in 7.5 minutes, we'll have Vertex Design take to the gaming table.
Yeah, they have been here before, but I think they're... Oh, no, they're still
Oh,
waiting.
yeah.
Give us
They're
away
waiting.
first.
They're ready. They're sitting there going, okay, we can take first. How are we supposed to do that?
I
You
think
can see that?
I think those are the guys who are actually already sitting in first, who have got front row seats to see whether they're going to get knocked off the top.
3 minutes 42.66 is to beat.
Yeah, they won't beat it. I think they will finish 3rd or something, maybe 4th.
Yeah, I'm very much of the opinion right now.
But to be fair, I'm
that
cheating here.
nobody will finish. No one will finish either. No one will finish in 2nd or they won't finish in second.
Yeah, that would be hard.
To hit that 0.42 second, hundredths of a second window, I think is
that would be hilarious.
That would be so funny.
But yeah, I'm cheating because I've spoken to the guys during lunch and they were like, we are not as fast as the others. So okay, I can say, yeah, I'm an expert. They will finish third.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we won't tell them that you put the bell locking script on to the that stuff as well.
That would be good.
One way to sabotage.
Oh, there's a bunch of bosses showing up. Video Dude, CEO, Lithianix. So, you know, they've been on the stream for like, maybe they've been on the stream, maybe I'm so big that they haven't been on stream, I'm not sure. Can't see the camera picture, but yeah.
What's more worrying is I've been sat here for about 6 hours at it and only just realised there's a door behind us.
There is.
Well, admittedly, there is a stack of farm sim steering wheels.
It's the door with the spare tables and the spare chairs, so it's not an important door.
So Vertex, Unimog's been, and the rest, there is a free slot which is actually too late now, so we've only got 5 minutes.
Yeah, because that is the slot we're currently talking our way through.
This is the one people have been looking forward to, I think.
Yeah.
Martin said he'll be watching these as well.
This could change everything. Unlikely, but it could.
It could.
Who knows?
Well, the room is filling up, so a lot of people are expecting an awesome match. And I think we are streaming it down. Not 100% sure, but I think the last presentation has just finished. And I know that every time the presentations are not running, we are streaming down our stream basically down to the main hall so that people can watch it as well. So
there's something really, really silly I want to do. If you're watching us in the main hall, let's hear you scream.
No.
No, I don't think it's on the main hall.
Nice try though.
That's right, yeah.
So 4 minutes, 45 seconds.
Either that or farm sim players are just really reserved.
And they already look nervous.
They do.
So I'm hoping we don't get the. Did you see any of the creative mesh one yesterday?
No, because I was in an interview.
Oh yeah.
I just heard they've almost. I almost F-bombed again. They screwed up massively.
Oh wow.
There's some chairs being removed here.
We are already starting to pack up things, guys. We are still working here. That's just not how it works.
We may have overstayed our welcome.
So we're being kicked out.
That's it. FarmCon is over. In the middle of the stream, I was like, get out.
We'll see you next year.
But yeah, Creative Mesh just got off to a really, really good start. They had the printouts and
it was a really good run right up until that.
I think they just want to have a little bit more space because we are not the ones packing up the chairs. So if we do it, then it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Or maybe the guys are just bored and like, oh, you know what? Let's just move some chairs.
Ceremony, or the winners ceremony. I would suspect the winners ceremony. I would suspect.
Is that up here?
I don't know,
it probably is up here.
Yeah.
We probably won't bring 10 cameras down. Yeah, it will be up here. That was a stupid question, actually. Is the winning ceremony here? No, we are just, just taking all these cameras and just going down.
We'll be coming to you guys with an iPhone camera, probably.
Yes.
From downstairs.
Well, I've seen that. I mean, there are a couple of streamers running around with iPhones on a stick and then just
I did have this grand plan to try and do a little bit of streaming from here, but unfortunately, I have no signal. I spent most of the weekend trying to find the little bit of edge signal I have in a couple of places.
Well, there is horse-free Wi-Fi.
There is. I couldn't quite work out how to get on it.
Because it's German text. You could ask, you have all these giants guys around.
That's very true. I really should have.
I could translate everything apart from the last box. I don't know what that is.
That's the box you need to press, by the way. It's the one that says if you don't have an account.
There's an IHR number or something.
Hello.
Here we go. Vertex Design.
You can tell, right? Look at this.
I think they may have done something to do with the horse deals.
Yeah, they have something to do with the horse
deals. I also think we may have had extra cameras added.
They are still working on the horse stuff, by the way. I don't know what for, but I know that they are still working on it.
It is one of my favorite.
So maybe we're going to see more horse from Vertex Design in the future. No pressure, guys, but I think they're still doing
it is one of the more useful packs that's come out.
It's really
cool. It's really good. Right up there with the Coon DLC, which is fantastic.
A physical version of the horse DLC as well. We gave it away on Agritechnica, and I think
it's in the goodie bags as well for FarmCon.
It was well. It was 50% horse or Rosselmarsh. I think it was more horse because we are at horse, but a couple of Rosselmarsh DLC special boxes.
Yep.
They're kind of rare.
It's just nice to have a hard copy anyway, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Because obviously I had Farm Sim 17 on Steam, I've got it, but I've also got the collector's edition as well, because it's just nice to have things, I think.
Ooh, speaking of which, the collector's edition for 19 is very nice, and I think I'm the only person on the planet, and people will correct me about this now, but I am really, really excited for the Commodore 64 version of Farm Sim.
Are you streaming it?
I may stream it because the first farming simulation game I ever played was Sim Farm, so the Maxis game from back in the day. I played that for hours upon hours on end, and I look at the C64 edition of Farm Sim, I go, that just takes me back. I know it will play very differently, but it is, you know.
It's the second time an April's Fool joke actually made it into the game.
Yeah.
We had that last year with the smell thing.
The smell thing.
You know, and then
It's brilliant.
there was this company approaching us like, we actually built this. And so the April's Fool joke turned into a real thing. And this time it was pretty much the same. We were like, oh, we should just announce a 64 version just for shits and giggles. And then Laszlo, our sound designer, he's a huge C64 fan, and he's in C64 basically programmer teams, and he was like, you know what, we could actually do that. Let's put it into the collector's edition.
I am so looking forward to playing that.
And it was hilarious when the first picture leaked of the collector's edition. Everyone was like, oh, this is fake because the C64 version is on there. And we're like, well, actually, newsflash, guys, it wasn't a joke.
Well, because when these things come along, I tend to get very, I tend to try and do a deep dive into the image to work out whether it's fake or not.
Oh, Vertex Design.
Oh, they're off. No, they're not.
Well, they're still low on the loading
They're still
screens,
loading into the game.
Yeah, they are like, oh, we wait for 1 minute, so it's a challenge.
So yeah, I whenever these come out like this and people go, oh, it's fake, I try and do a deep dive into the image because I've worked in Photoshop for a long time, and I know the things to look for when somebody's photoshopped something together and badly photoshopped it together. And I couldn't find it. I couldn't find any of the normal errors that hit for that kind of thing. And I went, I think this is real. I think this is an actual thing. And then you confirmed it. Not very long afterwards.
It was real. I mean, what am I supposed to say,
Yeah.
I made myself the promise never lie to the community.
Yeah.
So they were like, is this real? I was like, I could either just shut up or tell them. So I decided to tell them. The funny thing is, no one believed that this was real. But then again, did you see the badly photoshopped Kubota thing? Mm-hmm. There was this Kubota DLC someone invented with wrong logos. It was just a really bad Photoshop. It was like, oh, this has to be real. But then they see the real collector's edition. They're like, no, this is fake.
There was a John Deere one as well, expansion pack for 17 that was going around.
Yeah, there was.
But that one was better made, I think. The Kubota thing really looked cheap. I can do that in paint. And people were like, oh, no, this has to be real. I was like, really, guys? Do I really have to, deny? So, yeah, let's see. Still loading screens.
It's still loading screens. Some slight
delay.
We are live.
Delay.
They are already late, and they haven't even started.
It sounds like a tactical thing, if I'm being honest. Tactically trying to put it off.
So
I think we waited a little bit because we have one more camera. So we upped our game when it comes to recording this because we want to have this. Okay, Technic team says they are ready. And these three guys look ready as well.
I said
we don't see it now,
no.
There we go.
So here we go. 3 minutes 42 seconds and 66 hundredths of a second to beat.
Vertex Design mod team, and they've gone for the...
It's the stump team, which means
Stump.
core team.
So it means...
Core team?
Core team.
Core team.
All right. We have been getting that wrong all day then.
So they're positioning the stuff first, the loaders first. They've gone for the front as well, of course, I think.
They look like they're trying to pick the fence up with the Manitou at the moment.
I believe that's the fastest tractor there, but I could be wrong. Because as we experienced...
The Manitou has to be the fastest.
No, the
Fendt, sorry.
tractor.
The Fendt is the fastest tractor. The Manitou is definitely, I think it's the fastest, in general, the fastest thing on the whole map.
So the Vulture's ready.
So
getting ready,
so they are going, I think they're going for the same system as the other two Vertex Design teams went
They
for.
probably practiced
actually,
together.
no, I'm not sure they are. They both went up the middle, didn't they?
I believe so. I think both teams did. But
yeah. So this is a different way of doing it.
And they're
and they're off.
And they're off.
And
crossing the line,
they are going in a different way.
which of course starts the timer. it's pretty obvious. The Magnum always goes for this first off. I think every
Yes.
single game starts
Yeah,
there.
and
so
every single time. If as I said yesterday, I've never seen the two tractors cross over on that first row. Nobody ever uses the Vulture on that first row.
So the Vulture is actually going down the middle, which we've learned previously.
Wow!
Gets rid of the bump that they have to do to put it on the trailer, so there'll be
Now
more
this
accuracy.
is smart.
Oh, the bale has fallen off the fork there. Managed to quickly picked it back up again, and they have got the second one.
And that is
So the manager's going to load up the
Interesting.
first two now.
the first two bales on within 50 seconds.
So there's the two. Interestingly enough, the other bales are on this side of the field, but it looks like he's getting out now into the New Holland.
Yep. He has remembered to unload the bales from
Yes,
the back of
just
the
like we
baler.
saw
'Cause
previously.
We did see a team come have an issue where they forgot to unload a bale and ended up with too few bales on the playing field.
I don't think they were aware of the Y key unloading that. So he went out and bailed some more. But the other two bales going on now. So once again, 3 minutes 42.66 to beat. They're doing pretty well.
They are. This is a good time.
1 minute 30 gone on the clock so far. Already 4 on the trailer.
3 more swaths of straw to
Waiting
be
for the
Baled.
Magnum there would have cost a couple of seconds.
Although
I reckon.
I will be surprised if they do bale the last one.
I think they're on nice and straight. Those other two probably going to need to get pushed on, especially when you put some weight on them. New Holland's going to put another 2 on here. We've also seen the previous team, they knocked the front axle, which made the tailor tip over, which is bad news for them.
Yeah, not so good.
So that's 8 bales in about 2 minutes. So another.
They're doing quite well with the
They are
stack.
doing quite well. We are halfway through at 2 minutes 12. This is a good time.
2 minutes
They're fast.
15, halfway full already. I think it's going to shoot up when the third loader gets on, which you can see it going back in the background there now. And we already know he's going to jump into the Vulture. Not Vulture, sorry, the Fendt.
Yeah.
So the Vulture's gone back, is what I was meant to say.
There are 12 bales now onto the trailer.
The Fendt's scooping them up, which is pretty interesting.
It is some fairly accurate stacking.
So 2 minutes 43 on the clock now, 12 on the trailer,
Ooh, that's
14 though.
That's an interesting interesting stack the Manitou just did. That is, I think, is a little bit unstable.
This is some interesting loading techniques. We've seen it today, but this is really accurate.
Yes.
I've never seen it with the Fendt though. I've seen it with the Manitou and with the New Holland. But
Yeah,
the Fendt is doing this very
The Fendt
specific
doing
technique
this
as well.
is,
and that means that they are pretty much done already.
Yeah, 16 on the trailer so far. It's about to be 18.
And the
I did
Manitou is already there.
I did
There we
notice
go.
that the Fendt missed the bell. That could have cost a
Ooh.
couple of seconds.
Oh
a second
wow!
more.
Well,
this
that's
is
still
a very good time. They've left the fastest telehandler to
To last.
get back last.
Ooh.
He has. Oh,
The Fendt is now back.
Well, he has still like
the Manitou.
Oh!
Oh!
It looked.
10 seconds to go.
It's off.
they can still
Oh.
do
He can still
He's
come
got
first.
He can. It's
it. Go, go,
No.
go, go.
no. 41.
No.
42.
First place gone.
There it is. It's gone.
And a
No, he's not across the line. He's still.
and across
There
the
we
line.
are, across the line.
With a 3 minutes 49 seconds. That ending.
It was a very good run.
Very
though.
good.
It
That
a
that
very,
was
very good
excellent.
run.
There was a
Right.
10-second gap at one point, but it looked like the bale didn't quite fall off the fork there.
So
They could actually made it to first with the last bales.
Third, so there we go.
that
Third place.
tricky last bale.
What did we say at the start as well? It's going to be Vertex Design on the top
Yeah.
3.
Yeah,
It is.
that's interesting.
But yeah, very impressive run that.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to switch to German for a very quick second. Die 15:30 Uhr Werksführung. Diejenigen von euch, die in der 15:30 Uhr Werksführung sind, die findet schon um 15 Uhr statt. Also wer die 15:30 Uhr hat, am besten in den nächsten 6-7 Minuten da mal rumschauen. Dankeschön. We just switched the factory tours. The 3:30 tour starts at 3. So I had to switch to German and tell the people
So yeah, everybody needs to go on that.
so that they can join it, because Horsch is really quick with that. I think they have 2 teams of factory tours all the time.
Okay.
And it seems that one was just so fast that they are pushing through.
Pushing one back.
So people are obviously not here. The factory is literally right behind us. It's like
Yes. Yeah. It's
a 5-minute walk.
if that.
So this is the showroom, right? This bit here.
This is one of the meeting rooms. So you can see that this is actually 2 meeting rooms. They removed the wall. If they bring the wall back in, then this is a meeting room, and there's another meeting room back there. And the third one, which is now our crew room behind that. So 3 meeting rooms, and then on the other side, it's I think it's the marketing team sitting there, marketing and events. And then there's obviously the big show hall that they usually use to show new vehicles. Well, technically they did this well now, just with a game.
Nice. Which is just...
So 3 minutes 49. That was looking like a very, very impressive
that
time.
was. I really, until the Manitou was having the trouble at the end, I think that was a winning run.
I don't think he tilted it down enough. It was the stack was too high and it couldn't slide off properly. That was a problem. But there we go. Vertex Design. Technically all 3, but the real Vertex Design who made the Horsch DLC.
The real Vertex. You're gonna get in trouble for that one.
Well, it's the first 2 teams are Chaos Crew, Vertex Design mix-ups. You know, because I think these guys are very close friends. The third one, that's the actual Vertex Design. I know, basically.
Yeah.
We call it the main guy is the core team. But yeah, no, these guys, you can tell they practiced. I've been told they practiced the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
So they have a little bit of an advantage over everyone else because they practiced a lot.
There you go. Put in the hard work. And
they're on their home turf, right? They have to prove that they're good. I mean, Michael Horsch is probably watching that very closely, and it's like, if these guys don't win, you know, we're so done with this DLC and everything.
They had a couple of stakes. It was a really good run, I think. I saw obviously at the very beginning, the telehandler dropped a bale, the Fent missed one, and then of course at the end, that was it, to be fair. Pretty flawless run.
It's
pretty good run.
Which makes me wonder, this was one of the more flawless runs.
Yes.
How do you reach 2:56? You know, what do you have to do to be a whole minute faster?
That's why we were sort of sitting here earlier going, we don't think this can be done in less than 3.5 minutes, because the Chaos Crew Vertex Design 2, they dropped a bale and they left the New Holland to be the last vehicle to come in. And as far as we can see, that's the only mistakes they made. Otherwise, they had an absolutely flawless run.
It was quite a good show, that one, because the crowd was clapping saying come on, but just couldn't, the New Holland couldn't go fast enough. But the top 5, so we've got Chaos Crew 1, Chaos Crew 2, and then Vertex Design, LTO and LG, Franken Crew in the top 5 there. Some pretty impressive times, considering, where did we start off again? 14.
Franken Crew is still in there. There was one of our developers joining in because they lost a player. So Stefan Maros joined in to be the third one.
We had
because we had Martin sitting here at the time, and he was very much taking the mickey.
That looks amazing. I love how the headset just destroys my hair. No one told me. I'm sitting here for 3 hours and everyone's like, oh my god, look how this guy looks like the fat version of Winnie.
I got in trouble with my viewers yesterday because I wasn't wearing my hat. The big thing I got overnight. A was, you guys did great, which was very nice to see. And B, it was where's your hat? You got to wear your hat.
And for you, it was actually the first time showing your face on stream, right?
Yes.
Exclusive face reveal.
Yeah.
On FarmCon.
There's still no face cam on my streams.
One more exclusive reveal, and we didn't even speak about it.
It's out there now. Everyone's
So
known
sad.
nightmares forever.
It's
That was I enjoyed it. The last 2 days.
It's been a fantastic weekend. I have had so much fun.
Martin seems ready to do the big ceremony.
Ceremony now.
Yeah, unfortunately, we removed half of the room when we announced that the factory tour is half an hour earlier. Yeah, that pretty much destroyed the crowd.
So yes.
So while we are all working, Jos is just buying Horsch merchandise. That's what you do? Really? Come in here.
This.
Show your face. We're gonna show Rakin. This is the guy.
Is Rakin.
This is Rakin. Okay, Jos It was his birthday yesterday.
It was.
Yeah, we sang happy birthday
His
to him.
It's like-
14th birthday. What
Yeah.
was it? Yeah, something around that. The guy talk about a lot.
Yeah.
And he's a lot on Discord. So I think they cut down. Oh no, my microphone is still running. Good.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You can use your harsh merchandise and just shoo out of the stream. Thank
For
you.
those that still don't know who Rakin is, he's one of the creators of Seasons mod.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone knows what Seasons mod is.
Yeah.
Which is
Game
which is
changer.
I do think it's my favourite mod in the game. Because it has just changed the entire way I play Farm Sim.
It's funny because one of the things that I wanted to, because in FS15 there was, I forgot the name of the mod, but you had to look after your bale extension maybe. And I was saying it to him on, it was a Slack website, and then the day later, there you go, look after your bales.
It was quite nice because we all as a group of actually just as a group of people who play Farm Sim, because we aren't all YouTubers either.
No.
We stumbled across the Seasons source code well before its release, and we all grabbed it and went, "Oh, this is awesome! We've got to start playing with this." And so we all did, without realizing that they hadn't necessarily intended to make it public at the time, and what we were using was very much an alpha version of it. But kudos to Elizabeth. They then said, well, you guys can help us develop it. You guys can test it for us and find bugs and help us make it better. And so yeah, we got to use Seasons a decent time ahead of its release, and it did. It absolutely changed how I played Farm Sim, and it does. It makes you think 5, 6, 7 days ahead.
Yeah.
He's a very talented boy as well.
Then again, that's what a couple of people don't like about Seasons. That they have to think ahead.
Yeah.
They just want to play. So Seasons is very well received, but a lot of people hate it as well because they're like, oh, I don't want that. I just want to play. But no, it's an amazing mod. And,
but kudos to Giants as well for getting it, for seeing that there was also a big appetite for it on consoles. And getting it converted across to that, because that's one of those things that the community called out for, and then everybody was surprised that it actually happened.
Yeah. I almost leaked it because we do I do the daily mod in testing, and then Rakin came over to the Swiss office to build up Seasons for console and work on console, and at one point they just activated Seasons to test it. The very second I was taking the list, and it was in there because they were testing it. And I was just copying it with PS4, Xbox, Seasons, just copy-pasted it in, and then like 2 seconds later I got a Skype message from Rakin going, "Can you just remove Seasons?" And I was like, "Oh, oops." Leak right here. Yes. No one realized. One guy was like, "Was there Season on it?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it was mistagged. It was a PC thing." Because it was supposed to be a surprise, and it was so close to being released. I don't want it to be the guy leaking it.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I forgot my never lie to the community for a minute. I was like, oh no, that was a mistake. And then 2 days or 3 days later, we actually announced it.
I think sometimes it's nice to have surprises though.
Yeah.
Because one day they logged on and there it was.
We try to, and the only problem we had with hiring Jos afterwards was that for me, once we hired him, everyone was like, "Oh, so we're getting Seasons in 19."
Yeah.
It's like, that's not what we hired him for. We hired him because he's a great programmer. He can help with the game.
Yeah.
And actually, he came to me, fun time. He came to me last week, was like, "Can you announce that we don't have Season in 19 before we are at FarmCon? Because I don't want to answer these questions every 5 minutes."
Yeah.
So I went to Mark last week. I was like, "Can I please tell people Seasons is not in 19 before we have FarmCon, just to make sure Jos has not a bad time on his birthday at FarmCon." And they were like, "Yeah, just announce it." So I went out and told people there is no Seasons, unfortunately, in the base game of 19.
And I think its complexity, I think, means that it's probably going to be one of those mods that takes a little while to come out as well. So while I'm sad that I won't be able to play Seasons straight off, I with mods and everything, I understand absolutely that, especially with something of that complexity, it is going to take a while for it to get in game.
Yeah, well, we would love to have Seasons in there, not gonna lie, but there's only so much we can do in the
now
amount of time
there
we have.
is crop destruction, isn't there?
There is.
As an
It's,
option.
Yeah, exactly. You can just turn it on and off in the game options.
Does it work the same way as 17? Do you know?
I think. Does it? Doesn't work anymore?
Okay.
Now it works again? Nice. Yeah, well, yes, you can answer that. Crop destruction, is it the same as in 17? Yeah, it's the same as in 17.
Okay, so
Isn't it awesome to have a developer like 5
it is,
meters
it's brilliant.
away?
Yeah.
That's what- But I
It's-
will
it's
hop
one of the
off the
things
stream
where-
again in a second because we're going to do the ceremony now.
Okay.
And that one will be for you, your show. And they probably take my microphone to do the German version. I don't know. Something like that. So thanks again. It was fun. And as soon as we are done here, we will just chat again because
Awesome.
you know we do that without microphones.
Awesome.
See ya again, guys, and thank you.
So there we go.
So yeah.
Lars.